Ladies and gentlemen, President Trump on Truth Social essentially predicted his indictment or an indictment leveled against him in the near future. Essentially, they want to stop the man. He reversed U.S. foreign policy with the Doha Agreement, brought Americans home. Biden reluctantly abided by the agreement that Trump negotiated. It was a May 1st, 2021 withdrawal, okay? And by the way, we'll talk about all of this. I'll have a live stream tonight at around 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. So we'll talk about this. Please be here for the live stream at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. But you had Trump, who doesn't revere sacred cows. He would not have worshipped the alliance in Europe. I'm speaking in a verbose, long-winded manner like I usually do for a reason. He would have negotiated and tried to find some kind of peace deal, some kind of negotiated settlement to circumvent the absolute atrocities and humanitarian nightmare that's taking place in Europe, an invasion under Biden's watch, UFOs and spy balloons and 4 aircraft today over the skies of Alaska, a spy balloon traversing the entire United States of America. It never happened under Trump. Again, this is a fact that it never happened under Trump. You can't make a claim based on an anonymous source. You can't make a claim stating, oh, well, it happened, but nobody knew. That's how bad Trump was. Okay, there is zero evidence other than anonymous sources or senior U.S. officials say. Okay, Rolling Stone had an article today, and they always do this. Like, officials close to their campaign say, Trump says. The Rolling Stone article is very interesting. These are, they're trying to make, that's a whole other story. They're trying to make Trump into this madman when he actually wants capital punishment for the worst, most despicable criminals on the face of the planet who have committed the most heinous atrocities you could ever think of. And so Rolling Stone has done this, like, these series of articles on Trump. He wants to end these people's lives. Trump wants capital punishment for the worst criminals known to mankind. Okay? So anyway, that's another. So he goes into the Truth Social. He talks about how they're going to go after him because he's leading in the polls, and they're just going to go and probably indict him. Doing great in poll numbers, leading all Republicans by a lot, also leading Biden by a very wide margin, which means that our weaponized injustice department, local DAs, and attorney generals will step up their illegal, unprecedented attacks. And then he goes on to talk about how they're doing it just to allow mashed potato brains or DeSantis. And I like DeSantis, but this is not his year. They're doing it to make Trump not a viable candidate. But here's why it's a moral imperative to have voted for Trump, okay? Trump would not have simply allowed the invasion in Europe to take place. He would have tried his best. He stated that. It didn't happen under his watch, and he would have done his best to try for a negotiated settlement, okay? If there's a morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrat watching, and God bless you, left, right, center, if you're communist, socialist, whatever, you're watching this channel, God bless you, okay? People should understand they're trying desperately to stop Trump because Trump, his policies were very good for the country and the world. What took place was he did not worship or revere a very corrupt system. We now have the adults in the room. We're 90 seconds to midnight going into Biden's third year in office, okay? And God bless you if you're on the left, morally superior liberal Democrat who despises Trump. I'm going to say this slowly so you understand. We are going into Biden's third year in office. We have the House and the Senate, up until recently, only Democrat. The House, all they did was they didn't pass any Medicare for all or any other rackets that the left runs just to funnel left-leaning votes back into the Democratic Party, where AOC and Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders are part of an obvious, just the most overt racket of all time. But anyway, what they did was try to investigate Trump. What they did was investigate Trump endlessly find nothing, as usual, they might actually indict him. And they might do so simply to knock him out of 24. It ain't going to work. He's predicting this on Truth Social. He's not going to say they're going to indict me. He didn't use those words, but he's predicting they're stepping up the heat. Now, it's going to backfire. Okay? It's going to backfire. They desperately want to knock him out, but people will realize that the indictment or going after him in a court of law to try to make him into this criminal is just because of animus, contempt, disdain for the man. He reversed U.S. foreign policy of the Doha Agreement. Okay? That was a May 1st, 2021 withdrawal. Okay? Biden completely ignored that, reluctantly followed Trump's negotiated settlement and deal to get Americans out of our longest-running counterinsurgency conflict. The system, the machine, the industrial complex, whatever, they didn't want that. They wanted Americans there forever. Okay? So Biden botched that. Those 13 Americans should be alive today. That's Biden and Democrats' fault. And Blinken and Sullivan, all of those people messed that up. And they utilized our actual mortal enemies to evacuate. So they're completely and utterly incompetent. It's not a matter of, if Biden was competent, I wouldn't simply if he was a good president, I would admit that, okay? I'm not bound by tribalism. I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. The unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. I went from Bernie Sanders to Trump. There's a direct line, by the way, and I wrote about why in the Federalist. But I realized Trump was a good president. I wasn't bound by tribalism even within the Democratic Party. I wasn't going to vote for Hillary Clinton and I think she'll be the 24 nominee, because she is the most militant Democrat we've seen in years, more so than President Obama, and she was advised by neoconservatives, and so I didn't want never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. We had Biden almost immediately, we had an invasion in Europe. Now we're 90 seconds to midnight, okay? Not Trump's fault. How on earth is it a moral imperative to have voted against him if we're literally 90 seconds to midnight, there's an invasion in Europe, and 4 Russian jets over Alaska, but then you have spy balloons and all of these things that did not happen under Trump. Simply saying it happened, but they didn't know, is the most absurd, stupid response. They're saying that because they're embarrassed, and they need some kind of rebuttal. So, no, it didn't happen under Trump, because if it did, they would have made the biggest deal of all time. It would have been leaked. Everything during Trump's presidency was either leaked or there was anonymous, unnamed sources saying that Trump was devouring the planet. Media, the Democratic Party, they had Twitter. They don't have Twitter anymore. It was an extension of the Democratic Party. You did have First Amendment laws broken. That is categorical. It's a fact that First Amendment laws were broken. When people say, that's not true, the United States government and federal agencies were helping Twitter target conservatives and Trump supporters, because that's just how Twitter operated. It was a bureaucracy that the government helped out. No, it was, blatant, overt, in your face, First Amendment laws broken. Okay, freedom of speech no longer exists. That's why it exists, but not in the manner that we had even in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. Democrats, media, the entire American political systems in other countries understand that if they don't have, if the liberal Democrat viewpoint on foreign policy or economic policy doesn't have a complete control on a narrative or discussion, their ideas don't win. Trump's ideas win. His ideas win, his policies. We had record low poverty under Trump, and we were able to impose tariffs against China. Now we have inflation going up, real wages down. Real wages were up under Trump, and we're 90 seconds to midnight. Pentagon's on heightened alert, and there's an invasion in Europe where nuclear confrontation is being talked about every single day. And still they're focused on Trump. And that's why they want to indict him, because his policies and his ideas work. We had record low poverty. We didn't have an invasion. We had the Doha Agreement, first president to step foot in North Korea, Abraham Accords. We had record highs in household median income, record low in poverty, like I said. The economy was growing. He was able to implement tariffs as a short-term economic tactic, to impose or to as a diplomatic tactic or a way to circumvent simply a military confrontation. So he utilized our economy against others, and the media then melted down. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. They'll probably indict him just because they can't stop him in terms of ideas and a debate. Too many people are realizing how terrible Biden's administration is. And so the only thing they can do now is indict him. It'll only help Trump anyway in the long term. Give me your thoughts below because it'll make him even more popular. People will realize that they're only going after him because they despise him. That's it. And the rule of law will yet again be just torn apart when it comes to Trump. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe to this channel. I'll be here at around 7:30 p.m. for the live stream. Thank you.